Hey, what's up? My name is Ange. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be going over my March reading wrap-up and my April TBR. I feel like I have been reading so much, and I'm so afraid that it's going to put me into a slump, and I kind of feel like it's coming, so that's a little dangerous, but I have a very large reading wrap-up for you this month. I've been reading like a lot. Like February was a lot, March was a lot. I'm really just afraid that April is going to go downhill because there's no way it can go up from here. It's just going to go down. It always does. So let's start with my reading wrap-up. I've read, how many books did I read? I only read 9. Not only, but like I'm surprised because I thought that I read more. Okay, so I use Notion like for everything. And I have my digital library on here. Oh my god, I knew I missed something. It's because I rated that later. Oh my god. So let's screenshot those. I thought I read more than that. Yeah, okay. So I rated something that I read in February and then I got mixed up. That's why. Okay. We're back on track now, guys. I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books. It would have ended up being 12 books, but I didn't finish the book that I thought I was going to finish because I've been very busy, so that didn't happen. This month, I started the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. This was the first book of like, I don't know how many there are, like a lot. So this is going to be a very giant reading vlog, so I'm not going to get too much into this. So this is the story about, I believe it's Selena Sarduthian is how you say it. I'm not good at pronouncing fantasy names. If you are new here, I butcher literally everything that I say. So Selena Sarduthian is an assassin, and she's been held basically like in jail, and then the crown prince brings her to compete in, what is it called? To be the king's champion, and then all the competitors start dying during the competition. That's like something that's completely different from like just the competition dying, and it's very, very crazy. Her fight for freedom becomes a fight for survival. I rated this one on Goodreads 4 stars. It took me about until the 40% mark to get into it, but that's like normal for fantasy novels for me because of the world building and things like that. Like it does take me a little bit to get into, but once I got into it, I was really enjoying it. I love the love triangle forming in here. Again, I don't want to spoil anything because this is such a hyped up book that everyone should just read it. I don't want to ruin it, but the love triangle that is happening is so interesting. I'm very, very intrigued in that. I'm completely invested now. Once I got to that like 40% mark when like we were really getting into the story, I felt like it was really hard for me to put down. I don't know how long it took me to read this, but this is a very long awaited read. I've started that giant series and now we're just gonna go from here. The next book that I read was Rogue by Elle Kennedy, which is the second book in the Prep series. This one is also at Sandover Prep. This is about the first girl's sister, Casey. I don't remember what the first girl's name was. It's like literally on the tip of my tongue, but I remember the guy from it. It's RJ. Then this is the second one. This is about Casey and then Fen. It's just a continuation of a big thing that was happening in the first one that I, again, don't want to spoil, but I gave this one like a 2.5, 3 star. I don't exactly remember because I didn't write it down. I just did the 3 stars on Goodreads, so that's really all I got for you. I just remember not loving this book. I don't really love the Prep series, but I had it, so I was like, let me get through my physical TBR. That's a big goal of mine this year, so I just want to read everything that I had. I didn't love it. I like Elle Kennedy's other books more than I like these, so it is what it is, but it definitely wasn't like bad. I think that it just wasn't for me. Next, I have The Locked Door by Frida McFadden. This was my March book club read. I chose this in honor of my birth month. So that video, I believe, is coming out very soon, so you'll see all our very in-depth thoughts on that one. But I rated this one 3 stars. There was something about this one that just didn't quite hit the mark for me. I've read a bunch of other Frida McFadden books at this point, and the other ones were just a little bit more for me. I felt like there were a lot of loose ends, and it just was kind of like, felt kind of rushed at the end, and I didn't really love that. And I feel like a lot of her books end very abruptly, but this one was just different for me. This one follows Nora Davis, and when she was 11 years old, she had no idea that her dad was killing people in the basement until the police showed up at her house. She is now grown up, and I don't know how old she is, but she is now a doctor. It's decades later, and then her patients end up dying the same way that her father had been killing women. It's very, very, very interesting. I just feel like for the books that I have read by her, I have enjoyed those more than I've enjoyed this one, but by no means was it bad. I think it just missed something for me to be like really great. But was very enjoyable, and if you want to check out mine, Jess, and Cam's thoughts on this one, then that video will be out soon. Another book that I read was Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. Now this one was so interesting. This one is also in a reading vlog that is coming out soon if it's not out already. This isn't the same one as Rogue. I just don't remember when the heck that's coming out, so we'll see. You'll get it eventually. Just like take my word for it. This one's about Jules. She just lost her job. She found out her boyfriend was cheating on her, and then she is going to be a house sitter at this very famous apartment building called the Bartholomew, and everyone's like, it's really weird there. Like, it's got weird vibes. All these weird things start happening, and she starts to suspect that there's something bigger going on here, and it just keeps going from there. I rated this book 4.5 stars. It just missed the mark to be a 5-star read for me, and I don't know why, but it was so good. I don't even know how to explain it. I suspected somebody being involved in what was going to happen very early on, but I mean, like, it is what it is. Like, there were a lot of signs there. This was actually one of my favorite Riley Sager novels. I've read a couple, but this one was definitely my favorite. It was crazy. Like, I was not expecting the ending to be what it was, and I think that's what scared me so much, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, that's what it is? That freaked me out. This is, okay, so I just read my review again, and this is why I didn't give it a 5 stars. It just kind of felt like some things were missing and needed longer explanations, and that the ending felt a little bit too rushed for me. Like, once she found out what was going on, I wish she had struggled a little bit more. And if you read this, you maybe can understand what I mean, but I just wished that struggle was happening for a little bit longer before the ending happened. You kind of, if you read it, you kind of know what I mean, but I don't want to spoil anything, so that's the best explanation that I can give you. So 4.5, it was great. That 5-star just wasn't it for me in this one, but it was so close. Another one that I read was Maybe Meant to Be by Carol Walther. She is the author of The Summer of Broken Rules, and then also What Happens After Midnight. I read that one, I believe, in February. This one follows Charlie and Sage, and everyone thinks that they are just like meant to be together, and they are at a prep, is it a prep school or just like a, I think it's considered a prep school. It's called Bexley School, and everyone thinks that they're meant to be until Luke comes in, and then Charlie is in love with, I think it says it on here. Yes. So Sage is spending a lot of time with Charlie's twin brother Nick, and then Charlie ends up hanging out a lot with the guy Luke, who comes to the school, who like babysits his cousins, and like they know each other but they don't know each other. And I gave this one 2.5 stars, which was kind of sad because I really like Carol Walther and I really like her writing. I just wanted to like this so bad, but I just really didn't. I didn't like Sage, and I think that was my problem. Like, every time it came to her point of view, I was like, like, again, do we have to talk to her, like, again? I don't know. I just felt very weird about her. I thought that Nick deserved more. I didn't like how she was. I was way more interested in Luke and Charlie's point of views and their story. I feel like they should have been 2 separate books. I understand the point of having them together. Like, everyone thought that they should be together, but no, they don't even love each other like that. They love other people. But I just feel like Nick deserved more. Charlie and Luke were very cute together. I really enjoyed them. I just felt like it wasn't deep enough for everything that was happening in the story, and I know that it's like a YA novel, but I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it, and I was really sad that I didn't enjoy it, but you know what? It is what it is. Yeah. I really loved The Summer of Broken Rules and What Happens After Midnight, but this one just wasn't it for me. I read Heartless and Powerless by Elsie Silver this month. Heartless by Elsie Silver follows Cade Eaton. He's the dad, and he's the one that's running the ranch. Not like the dad. He's one of the Eaton brothers who is, his son is Luke. He's the one that's running the ranch now. And what is her name? Her name is not Sloane. That's Powerless. Willa, right? Is it Willa? Her name is Willa. Yep, her name is Willa. She's his nanny because he needs to like run the ranch, but Luke like needs somebody to watch him. He doesn't trust like anybody with his son. So Summer's like, oh, my friend can watch him. And then Willa comes into town, and they meet each other at like a coffee shop, and she's like wild. Like, he's like, you're not watching my child. And then Luke ends up just falling like completely in love with her. Like, they're besties. It's really cute. I'm gonna get so much hate for this. I rated this one 2.75 stars. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. I don't know why. All the tropes that were in this book, I think, were just not my thing. I really don't love age gap. I try to ignore that as much as I can. I don't love when kids are in the book, but I did love Luke, so it's like, I don't know, I just didn't feel the emotional attachment to the characters that I feel for so many others, that I was like, this one just, it has everything that I don't like. And then like, this is gonna be a spoiler, so if you didn't read this book, then like skip probably 1 minute. I don't like the pregnancy trope. I do not enjoy it. I don't like it. I don't care for it. And then it had that, and it just topped it all off for me, and I was just, you know what? Like, let's just chalk it up. I just didn't like this one. I love the writing, and that's the thing. I just didn't like these characters, and I just didn't like the trope, but I feel like this was the theme this month. It is what it is. It just wasn't for me. We'll move on to the next one. Immediately after I read Heartless, I picked up Powerless by Elsie Silver, which is number 3 in the Chestnut Spring series. This one is about Jasper and Sloane. Jasper is the hockey heartthrob, is what they call him, and he's basically the not adopted brother into the Eden family. And then Sloane is the Eden boy's cousin. I think their moms were sisters, I believe it was. And she is getting married. They are childhood friends to lovers. You can get me with a good childhood friends to lovers, like literally every time, or friends to lovers, just any of like that. Like when you realize like, oh my god, your connection is so strong, like I just want to be with you. I'm melting. It's amazing. So she's getting married, and then she's like, she finds out something about him, and they run away, and it's just so amazing. I rated this one 4 stars. The chemistry between the characters got me. It was just so good. I loved it. I love Sloane. I love Jasper. Such a sweetheart. I read this one. I have the physical book, but I read this one on my Kindle, and I have 6 notes and 47 highlights because I loved everything about this book. It slightly missed the mark for me to be a 5-star read. I don't exactly know why, but it was so good. Oh my god, it was so good. This is the one that I was really looking forward to the most because you can get me with a good hockey romance, and then throw in childhood friends, lovers, like, you're killing me. So good. Please don't read the series if you haven't, because wow. I also read book number 3 in the Knock 'Em Out series by Lucy Score, which was Things We Left Behind. This one is also Sloane and Lucian, whatever his name is. Okay, I read this one in the beginning of the month. This one is about Lucian. This was a really long time ago, so excuse me, I have to remember what it was about. Lucian is a lean, mean, vengeance-seeking mogul on a quest to erase his abusive father's mark on the family name. The more money and power he gains, the safer he feels, and Sloane and him do not get along because of something that happened when they were younger, and then you get into that, but I don't want to spoil that for you. She is the librarian in the Knock 'Em Out town. I also love this one. This one was a 4 stars for me. I finally finished the Knock 'Em Out series, and my heart is so happy to announce that I absolutely love this one. I think that this one was my favorite out of all 3 of them. I was really excited for this book, and I feel like a lot of people were not happy with the way that this was because everyone wanted this book, and then I remember hearing a lot of backlash about it, but I really, really enjoyed it. I felt like I'm not really like a friends to enemies to lovers. Like, I hated that they hated each other, but at the same time, I was like, I love them so much. Just like how well you know each other, it kills me. It kills me. Like, oh my god, I just loved it. And also, the parts with Sloane losing her dad and like how she felt, I was like, that was just, it was explained so good because I just understand it so much, and it was just, oh my god, so good. Also, Lucian. Apparently, I read this during March. I guess I must have started it during February. I don't even remember because I don't remember reading this. Okay, I read it from February 29th to March 2nd. So this was the first book that I read in March. So that's why it feels like it was forever ago. This one is that other K.L. Walther book that I was talking about, What Happens After Midnight. This was also at, is this the same school? I don't think that this is the same school, but it's kind of like the same thing like this prep school. Lily has 2 more weeks until she graduates from this school, and they have this thing called the Jester. It's basically like a senior prank, and the Jester hat gets passed down to the senior that's coming up, and then they have to play that prank by the end of the year, blah, blah, blah. So the Jester email reaches out to her and is like, we want you to help in the game, blah, blah, blah. So when she gets there, the Jester is her ex-boyfriend, and then Jester, her ex-boyfriend Taggart, love him also, is playing the prank of stealing the yearbooks from the kid who is now her prom date, and then it was really, really good. I rate this one 3.5 stars. This one kind of, I don't know if anyone agrees with me, but doesn't this kind of give you spooky vibes? So I didn't pick it up. I had no idea what it was about. I bought it because it was K.L. Walther. I don't even think that I read it. Read like the back of it before I bought it. So for the longest time, it gave me spooky vibes, and then I finally read it and I was like, this does not give me Rhode Island prep school vibes, but like, Okay, cool. So those are all of the physical books that I read this month, but then I did read 2 books on my Kindle. So I also read The Perfect Son by Frida McFadden. Erica Cass has the perfect family and a perfect life until the evening that 2 detectives show up at her door and say that a high school girl has vanished from Erica's quiet suburban neighborhood and the police suspect the worst, murder, and that Erica's son Liam was the last person to see her alive. I read this one in the beginning of March. This one again was on my Kindle, so I did not have the physical book of it. I rated this one 3.75 to 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. I said it wouldn't be a freedom novel if the person blamed for the crime was the actual person who committed the crime. I had a feeling it would be that person a little bit towards the end, but I didn't see how it truly could be. The ending was amazing, and if you read this book, you know what I mean, because you read the ending and you're like, what? And it's not what you think it is. Like, it's literally not what you think it is. I thought that this was so good. I kept just wanting to read it. It was so hard for me to stop reading when I had to put the book down or close my Kindle. But it was just chef's kiss. See what I mean? But, like, that was such a good Frida McFadden novel. Like, that was everything that I could have wanted. And the ending, I don't know. I keep going back and forth with my thoughts. I don't think I need to collect my thoughts and reorganize them before I start these videos, because then I say things and I'm like, you know what? No. I take that back, because now that I'm laying all these books out at once, like, I feel slightly different. But so good. Really enjoyed that. And then the other Kindle novel that I read was also by Frida McFadden, and this was Never Lie. This one is about newlyweds Trisha and Ethan, and they're searching for the house of their dreams, and then it's snowing outside, and they get trapped at the house that they were supposed to be seeing, and then that house was owned by Dr. Adrian Hale, a renowned psychiatrist who vanished without a trace 4 years earlier. And then when the violent winter storm traps them at the estate with no chance of escape until the blizzard comes to an end, she was in search of a book to keep her entertained until the snow abates. Trisha happens upon a secret room, one that contains audio transcripts from every single patient Dr. Hill has ever interviewed. So she's like listening to these, searching through the house, blah blah blah. I rated this one 4 stars. I have had this one saved from Kindle Unlimited for I think about 2 years. That was insane. Like, that's like a really long time to have that Kindle and not that Kindle book and like not read it. I never picked it up, and I honestly regret so much that I didn't pick it up, because this one was so insane. I don't know how to talk to you about Frida McFadden books, or really any book, without spoiling something. Normally I can see the plot twist coming. I didn't see the plot twist coming on this one. I never connected those dots, and then once it comes out, you're like, how did I not see that? It was so good. Like, oh my gosh. There's something about psychological thrillers that really just, like, do it for me. It was just so good. Never in a million years did I see that happening, but now that I saw it, I was like, and then the ending, like the epilogue, I think it was the epilogue. Oh my god, that epilogue. Oh my gosh. There's nothing I can say about that because I just don't want to spoil it, but I was like, wow, the flowers are doing so well. Or the grass. Like, so those were all of the books that I read in March, and then I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 books that I want to read in April, so let's go over those now. Starting off, this book was going to be in my March wrap-up, but unfortunately I did not finish, so I'm about halfway through right now, and that is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I am finally starting the Magnolia Parks universe. I have put this off for so long. It's been on my TBR cart, but this is for a video, so it is being read this month. You will see that. I think that video comes out in May, but you'll hear about this in my April wrap-up. So this one says, how many loves do you get in a lifetime? Magnolia Parks is a beautiful, affluent, self-involved, and mildly neurotic London socialite. BJ Ballantyne is Britain's most notorious and photographed bad boy who broke her heart. But these two are meant to be, and everyone knows it. Magnolia and BJ are written in the stars, just suspended in a strange kind of love that looks like hurting each other a lot of the time. She dates other people to keep him at bay. He sleeps with other girls to get back at her for it. But at the end of every sad endeavor to get over one another, it's still each other they crawl back to. Finally, after years of this, their dysfunction is catching up with them, pulling at their seams and fraying the world they've built. But they're not ready to let go. Not yet, at least. As the cracks start to show and secrets begin to surface, Magnolia and BJ are forced to face the formidable question that they've been avoiding all their lives. How many loves do you really get in a lifetime? So, I am page 230 of 430, so I'm exactly halfway through. I'll give you like a little sneak peek on my thoughts so far. I am really enjoying it. The writing is so different from what I normally read, so it is a lot to get used to, but all around, like, so good. Amazing. We're gonna put this book here so I don't lose it, because that's going back where it was. The next book is also for a video, but I am reading Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. This one is, obviously, if you don't know Twilight, where have you been? I just never read the books. Jess loves the books. Are you catching like a hint here? Because this is also one of Cameron's favorite book. So that's a little sneak peek that I'll give you. And then the next book, I'll tell you that too. This one says about 3 things I was absolutely positive. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him, and I didn't know how potent that part might be, that thirsted for my blood. And third, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. I'm finally going to read that. Next is technically a reread, but I read it so long ago that I don't really think that it counts, but like it technically is a reread. Also, for a video that is with those two. All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven, I think is how you pronounce her name. This one is about Theodore Finch, who is fascinated by death. Every day he thinks of ways he might die, but every day he also searches for and manages to find something to keep him here and alive and awake. Violet Markey lives for the future, counting the days until graduation when she can escape her small Indiana town and her aching grief in the wake of her sister's death. When Finch and Violet meet on the ledge of the bell tower at school, 6 stories above the ground, it's unclear who saves whom. And when the unlikely pair teams up on a class project to discover the natural wonders of their state, they go, as Finch says, where the road takes them. The grand, the small, the bizarre, the beautiful, the ugly, the surprising, just like life. Soon it's only with Violet that Finch can be himself, a bold, funny, live-out-loud guy who's not a freak at all. And it's only with Finch that Violet forgets to count away the days and starts living them. But as Violet's world grows, Finch's begins to shrink. This is a heart-wrenching, unflinching story of love shared, life lived, and 2 teens who find one another while standing on the edge. This is gonna make me cry again, just like it did so long ago. So kind of catch my drift there on what that video is gonna be about, because that's one of Cameron's favorite books, one of Jess's favorite books, and then one of Vanessa's favorite books. So that'll be out sometime in May. Kind of get a hint there. The next book that I want to read is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This is the author who wrote Icebreaker. This is the second book in the Maple Hills series, I think is what it's called. This one says, it only takes one spark. At a party celebrating the end of the academic year, Maple Hills students Russ Callaghan and Aurora Roberts have a passionate one-night stand. Never one to overstay her welcome or expect much from a man, Aurora slips away before Russ even has a chance to ask for her full name. Days later, they run into each other in their new jobs as a summer camp counselors, hoping to escape their complicated home lives. Russ knows breaking the camp's strict no-staff fraternizing rule will have him heading home back to Maple Hills before the summer is over. But unfortunately for him, Aurora has never been very good at caring about the rules. I've had this book for so long, like since it came out, and I just never picked it up, and I completely forgot about it because where it was on my TBR card, so this month we are going to be reading this. I'm super excited for this one. I read Icebreaker like a billion years ago, it feels like, so the cover's cute. I love her covers. She does the best covers, I think. And then I don't know when the 3rd one comes out, but I want to read this one before the 3rd one comes out so that I can read the 3rd one, and then yeah. Another one that has just been on my TBR for so long, my TBR card, I've had it for like 2+ years, and it feels like, I don't even know if that's right. It's just been a really long time, and I just feel like I really have to get through it. So next one that I have is By a Thread by Lucy Score. I got her fired. Okay, so I'd had a bad day and took it out on a bystander in a pizza shop. But there's nothing demure about Allie Morales. She proves that on the first day of her new job, which really happens to be in my office, and I can't fire her because it's my mother, the CEO, who hired her. So maybe her colorful, annoyingly, inexplicably alluring personality brightens up the magazine's office that I felt like a prison for the past year. Maybe I like that she argues with me in the front of the editorial staff. And maybe my after-hours fantasies are haunted by those brown eyes and that sharp tongue. She's working herself to death at a half a dozen dead-end jobs for a secret reason she doesn't feel like sharing with me. And I'm going to fix it all. Don't accuse me of caring. She's nothing more than a puzzle to be solved. If I can get her to quit working here, I can finally peel away all those layers. Then I can forget all about the dancing, beer-slinging brunette. Allie. Ha! Hold my beer, charming. I don't hear like a ton about this book. I've had it for so long, and I really like Lucy Score, so I feel like I'm going to enjoy this. This is like a thick book, but I'm very excited. So we will get to this in the month of April. Next, I want to finish the Chestnut Springs series hopefully by May. So in April, I want to read Reckless by Elsie Silver, which is book number 4. This one follows Theo Silva. Howdy. That doesn't say howdy, Angelina. That says rowdy. Rowdy bull rider, notorious ladies man, scorching hot trouble wrapped in a drool-worthy package. And he's looking at me like I might be his next meal. But I'm almost free of my toxic marriage and have sworn off men entirely. So all I see when I look back is temptation, served up with a heaping side of heartbreak. This man is hard to trust and even harder to resist. Make that impossible because Theo is persistent. No matter how hard I try to freeze him out, he melts my icy exterior and pulls apart all my defenses. Over a drink in a small-town bar, I blurt out my deepest, darkest secrets. Then I spend the singular, hottest night of my life with him. He worships my body, he makes me blush, I come alive beneath his hands. Then I tell him to forget it ever happened. I want simple, and with him it all feels complicated. It was supposed to be a one-time thing, a secret. But that little plus sign is going to make this secret impossible to keep. Obviously, this is going to be an accidental pregnancy. If you're new here, I just don't really love that trope, but I heard from a lot of people that even if you don't love that trope, that this one is done very well, so I'm hoping for the best. I'm going to, not read it because of that, but I don't know how much I'm going to love it, so we will see how that happens. This one follows Winter, which is Summer's, her half sister or her full sister? I don't remember if she's half or full. From the first book is Summer, so this one is going to be really interesting. I don't love that trope, but I heard that it is done well in this book, so I want to get through that whole series, so we are going to be reading that one this month. I also want to read Crown of Midnight, which is book 2 in the Throne of Glass series. I don't know if I want to read the back of this one because I don't want to ruin anything, so basically this is just the continuation of the Throne of Glass series. If you have read that, then you know what this one is about. Again, this one is going to be in a reading vlog whenever I'm done with the series. I have no idea when that's going to be. That could be like next year for all we know, but I am recording and I am doing a reading vlog on this, but this is just the continuation. This one, is there anything that I can tell you? No, I don't think that there's anything I can tell you, but this is just a continuation, so I will be reading this in April. I also really want to read The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy this month. I've had this since it came out. Did I read it? No. Why? I don't know, because The Deal was my favorite Elle Kennedy book, especially from the Off-Campus series, like Garrett Graham, Girly for Life. And this one is about his daughter. I don't know why I never picked it up. I just, like, it's always been there, and I'm just like, no. But this one says, you feel this too, don't you? His eyes are on mine. Dark blue and bottomless. Yeah, I feel it. Gigi Graham has exactly 3 goals. Qualify for the women's national hockey team, win Olympic gold, and step out of her famous father's shadow. So far, so good, except for 2 little things. Fine, a little thing and a big grumpy thing. She needs to improve her game behind the net, and she needs help from Luke Ryder. Oh my god, I love him already. Oh my god, I love him already. Ryder is 6'5", built, optimated, rude, and sexy as hell, but he's still the enemy. Ryder's new hockey co-captain has his reasons, though. The men's team just merged with a rival program, leaving Ryder with an angry roster where everyone hates one another's guts. To make matters worse, the summer coaching spot he's angling for with the legendary Garrett Graham is out of reach after he makes the worst possible first impression on his hero. So really, this compromise with Gigi is a win-win. He helps her make the national team, she puts in a good word with her dad. The only potential snag? This bone-deep, body-numbing, mind-spinning chemistry they're trying to ignore. But it's a dangerous game they're playing, but the risk just might be worth it. I am so excited! Oh my god, I'm so excited. I don't know why I haven't read it. I've been putting it off, and I'm really afraid that I'm going to hate it because I love The Deal so much. No, this one, I love it. I'm so excited. Oh, yes, that's gonna be so good. I also really want to read Never by Jessa Hastings this month. This one is also for a video, so is another one. There's a lot of videos this month based on this TBR. Typically how I do it is I pick my TBR and then I kind of put those into the videos. I don't want to just choose the books based on my filming schedule because I don't want to get in a slump or hate it or feel like I'm being forced to read the books. So I kind of pick my TBR and then I base that month's videos around that. So Never is also in a video by this is by Jessa Hastings. You've heard a lot of backlash on this one probably, and I don't know how I'm going to do with this, so I'm really, really excited to read it. This one says, Never is an awfully long time. Growing up, Daphne always knew Peter Pan would come for her, the way he'd come for her mother, her grandmother Wendy before that. The Darling Girls. Their stories are all the same. The forever young boy at their window after their 13th birthday in the shimmering magical land behind a star. When Peter doesn't show up for Daphne until she's 17, inexplicably full grown with no excuse for his tardiness, Daphne doesn't know what to think. Still, she has always been told that Peter Pan is her destiny. It's beyond choice to take his hand and leap into the stars, no matter what comes next. But at Neverland, Peter's true colors begin to show. One moment, he's making Daphne's heart flutter, and the next, he's forgotten her entirely. So when Daphne stumbles into the path of Jameson Hook, the pirate son of Peter's nemesis, she lets herself get swept up in his vulgar charm, despite the warning sign. Both boys are trouble, and both have dangerous secrets about this strange fantasy land that they call home. And if she loses her heart to either one, Daphne might lose herself too. That was gonna be interesting because I hear like a lot of bad things about that book, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I have it. Let's read it. We'll see how it goes. And then finally, this month's book club read, if you follow those, is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. It is Cam's birthday month in April, so happy birthday month to Cameron. She chose Divine Rivals for the book club read. So this one says, when two young rival journalists find love through a magical connection, they must face the depths of hell in a war between gods to seal their fate forever. After centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again. But 18-year-old Iris Winnow just wants to hold her family together. Her mother is suffering from addiction and her brother is missing from the front lines. Her best bet is to win the columnist promotion to the Oath Gazette. To combat her worries, Iris writes letters to her brother and slips them beneath her wardrobe door, where they vanish into the hands of Robin Kit, her cold and handsome rival at the paper. When he anonymously writes Iris back, the two of them forge a connection that will follow Iris all the way to the front lines of battle for her brother, the fate of mankind, and love. Divine Rivals is an epic enemies to lovers fantasy novel filled with hope and heartbreak and the unparalleled power of love. So I'm looking at the stack here and like, dude, that's a lot of books that I'm going to be reading. I can't. Whoa. Sometimes do you ever do that when you like feel like, oh my god, this is such a good reading month, this is amazing, and then like you look at the stack and you're like, oh my god, I read all those pages? Because that's how I've been feeling. I'm super excited. This seems like a really good month of reading, a lot of different books, and that's what I'm really trying to do this year is, one, finish all the series that I have started or am in the middle of or whatever. Two, I am really trying to get through my physical TBR, and three, just read different and more things. I was kind of getting sick of like the same old thing over and over again, so I feel like I'm doing that very well. I think that I am going to be hitting all of my reading goals, and I'm really, really, really excited for that. But that brings this video to a close, so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all next time. Bye!